here is something you may not know. The insulation in your attic can be inviting for curious critters. Squirrels can bite with 22,000 pounds of pressure, enough to chew through plastic and aluminum. If they get in your attic, they'll cause a mess of your insulation and make it easier for heat to escape. Hey, Bob.
Hi, Megan.
Pete said I'd find you up here. Before you show me, wow, there's a lot going on up here.
There is.
Explain why the attic is so important to a house.
Well, a couple of key components in the attic is moisture and air leakage and potential ice dam problems. If you look along the bottom here, you can see there's a lot of moisture built up along the bottom of these insulation on either side. Over here you can see a lot of pooling, and this is just constant dripping over the last umpteen years. In the far left corner, you can actually see where there might be a little bit of roof damage, which should be probably repaired.
Now, these puddles over here, do you think that's from a direct leak, or is that condensation?
Most likely from condensation, because condensation is caused by warm indoor air collecting on the coldest part of the house, in this case, either side of the insulation, and it's going to run down the wrappers and drip along the edge.
All right, tell us about this insulation up here. It looks like it's pretty damaged.
It is. It's pretty damaged, and surprisingly, it's not very old. This is probably less than 10 years old on a house that was built in the 70s. So one of the problems that I see when they installed this is they use the incorrect size. So the rafter depth here is actually 6 inches, and this is probably 3 or 3.5 inch fiberglass batt, which is the incorrect size. So we're going to remove all the fiberglass insulation, re-inspect it for damage, and then re-insulate it.
Okay. Any other piping or anything else you see?
Yeah, there's a pipe right here, which is the exhaust vent for the bathroom fan. So that'll need to be replaced with insulated material.
Okay. You had mentioned what you thought might be ice dam damage over there. An ice dam is when the heated air of a home leaks into the attic and warms the roof, causing snow to melt in the winter. The water flows down the roof and then freezes at the edge, forcing other melted water behind it to leak into the roof and cause damage. The homeowners had said that they had ice dams in the past. Is that what that's from?
You know, if I had a guess, I would say it's probably ice dam related, or I would suspect it, just based on where it's located. It's right near an outside wall, so I would definitely think that it could be ice dam related.
All right. Let's go see what we find out on the other side of the attic.
Let's go.
Okay, Bob, we're in the other half of the attic. First, explain why this house has 2 separate attics.
Well, originally when the house was built, the exterior wall actually ended right here, and then the space behind us, the attic we were just in, is actually a room addition that was added. Oftentimes we get calls from additions with ice dam problems, and it's typically because sometimes the contractors aren't able to air seal the space between the addition and the original house. So we would have to take a look at that to see if there's any issues there.
So this is finished on this side.
Correct.
Is there the same or similar insulation up here?
Perceivably, yes, but we won't know unless we take a piece out and inspect it.
Right, and you won't know if it's damaged to the extent that insulation
Correct.
is as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what's going on up here? What do you see?
I see a normal attic that's been around since the late 70s, and I don't see anything totally unusual except for the soil stack. This has been dripping on the floor. You can see some moisture staining right here. So again, we would have to expose some of the roofing material, air seal this, and that would take care of all this piece right here.
Okay. And after you get that taken care of, now as far as the investigation goes, where are we going?
We're headed to the crawl space.
Oh, we're not headed to the crawl space. That's going to be a place we're going to send Pete.
Okay.
I think he'd like to go there.
Sure.
So Bob, I know this is normally when you'd be inspecting the basement of a house, but this home doesn't have a basement.
Correct, Pete. This actually has a crawl space, and this particular crawl space is heated. So we're really concerned about air infiltration and air exfiltration. So we want to be able to keep the air inside the crawl space inside and not outside and vice versa.
And again, that really comes into play in terms of when you're thinking about heat loss for a home here.
Correct, it does.
And as I look at this, Bob, we're going down in this hole here. I mean, it's a very confined space, but it does run the length of the home.
It runs the entire length of the home underneath. It's probably 3 to 4 feet deep, so not a lot of space down there. So we're gonna have some fun today.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you think that. Let's check it out.
Okay.
Bob, you weren't kidding. This is a bit of a confined space as we're down in the crawl space. So when you're down here, what are you looking for?
We're looking primarily evidence of air infiltration, rodents, moisture-related problems, mainly related to odor.
Okay. It looks like, I mean, some insulation and some issues as I look up here towards the side.
Yeah, so up here along the top of this wall, we have an area called the sill box, and it runs around the entire perimeter of the house, all the way around. And you can see there's been some rodents in here. Right behind you here, there's a piece of fiberglass insulation hanging with a bunch of holes in it. So the insulation that's down here has just been decimated by rodents.
Also, looking here, the vapor barrier on the ground here looks like it has seen better days.
It has. So in order for a proper vapor barrier to work, it would need to be encapsulated 100%. That means laid out up to the sides of the wall, air sealed all the way around. And that helps keep some of the moisture down and some of the rodents out of the crawl space. Moisture in the crawl space you want to keep below 60% at all costs. I'm more concerned about it in the summer months because it can contribute to moisture-related problems, mold and such.
All right, so as you look at this, I mean, definitely some improvements you can make for the homeowner here in terms of tightening this up and reducing that heat loss.
Absolutely.
As you look across here.
Yep, and then additionally, the other side of this wall here is the addition. There's no vapor barrier in there at all. There's no insulation on the crawl space walls. If you look over here to the right, you can see all this ductwork hanging. This would all actually need to be tightened up and sealed. This is something that we'd recommend also.
It looks like there's a lot that you can do.
This is going to account for probably 25% of the total air leakage in the house.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And again, it can be corrected and can be fixed.
Correct.
Well, Bob, it is, I mean, we're a little cramped down here. It's fascinating, though, but one of those things that a homeowner can improve. I've seen enough. I'm ready to get out of here.
I'm ready to get out of here too. Let's go.
Okay. Here's something you may not know. The optimum rate of air exchange in a home is about every 3 hours. A house that is classified as very leaky could exchange air every 30 minutes or less, which is why a furnace or air conditioner has to work harder to keep up.